I just went on a very long road trip vacation, which means that I had the means to bring comic books back and just go crazy in other cities' local shops. And I did that. I really did that because it was time for a new short box. I found a short box. I kind of started filling it. That's what short boxes are for. They are meant to be filled. I also hauled a ton of regular books. So at the end, I'll do a book haul. So let's go through these. I'll show you what I brought home. We'll organize now that I have a new short box, a gorgeous new short box. And then of course we're gonna go to my LCS and pick up the books that I missed while I was gone. So without further ado, because the nature of a haul is so capitalistic, I don't think that people are obligated to disclaim what they spend, why they spend, how they spend, where they spend their money, whatever. But I do want to point out that, like, this was planned. This was intentional. This is stuff that was on my list. Like, I do not want to be negatively contributing to the aspect of this community where people just mindlessly spend. Like, these were intentional grabs, and I only bring this up because I want to, like, hopefully inspire some people to be intentional with their purchases, because this hobby gets wild fast. Anyways, on my big road trip, I managed to hit 3 different cities' local shops. One in downtown Vancouver called Golden Age Collectables. One in a town neighboring in Surrey called The Comic Scene. And then one in Burien, just outside of Seattle, which is, fun fact, where I'm from. So that was a special shop to hit, and it was called Ancient Comics. Stellar shop. I want to go back there so bad. As well as numerous, like, used bookstores where I found also some trade paperbacks, but not really any of my single issues. I did purchase my first books, like, technically off the wall on this trip, which was kind of crazy. I found a lot of stuff that I've been looking for and I've exhausted my local shops looking for. So firstly, about half of the single issues I brought home are Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm really working on acquiring those lower numbers and also closing any gaps within my collection. Also, I'm specifically focused on the under 200 issues, so it's gonna be kind of a scattering, but some really, really good finds. Another note before I show any comics is, do not abide by any of the price stickers on here. I haven't rebagged and boarded anything, so you will see, like, random price stickers, but most of these are either on sale or possibly not even in American currency. So, like, this $5 here is fake. A lot of this is fake money. Anyways, let's go through it. Spectacular Spider-Man issue 7, 19, 20, 22, 23. This was my first wall book and is from the town that I'm from, which was very, very cool. And it's a very, very nice, like, pristine cover, honestly. And then followed that with, they had the next one, 24, on their wall as well, so I figured I'd grab that. I've never seen this cover, but Death Dance of the Hypno Hustler seems really interesting, and I love all of the colors on here, so I'm really, really pleased with these two being so, like, memorable and specific in my collection now. 26, 28, 30, 31, 31, 33, 36, 38, 39. We've got a lot of green, guys. 104, 104, 106. This is actually really, really sad. 108, got a black suit. 111, 121, 122, 154. This dark cover is so freaking cool. 155. And then lastly, one that I've been looking for because it fills a specific hole, 190. And this is such a cool cover. This is such like an iconic cover, and I found it for $2. So with all of these added to my Spectacular Spider-Man collection, that's where I think I'm gonna move it into its own short box, which is so exciting because it's been crammed for space. Here are the other individual single issues. So some Image, and honestly, a lot of DC. We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, #1. This has always kind of caught my eye, and I've never found a #1, and here we are. So I will have the #1, and then I'll probably, if I enjoy it, pick up the trade, but I think it's cool to have a #1. Image usually is like a home run for me, so I'm not against having Image #1s, even if I don't necessarily go and grab the rest of the singles. Bolero issue #1, same vein, same situation. This is like a bigger book. It's a perfect bound book, I think, or square bound, whichever one you call it. And also Image #1, but on my mental list of, I think, queer comic books to check out and collect. So really, really stoked to have found this one. Not back issues. The only two books I grabbed that were not back issues are Zatanna #1 and #2. I missed out on them in my local shops, and I regret it. I have Zatanna FOMO. So, Zatanna or Zatanna? I found an old issue of DC Pride, which is more of a trade situation, honestly, and it was such a cool Batwoman cover that I wasn't gonna leave it behind. And I've been really enjoying this year's DC Pride, so I figured I could kind of do what I've been doing this year and learn about some of the other characters that I know nothing about, and this would be a great vessel for that, not to mention another book to add to my queer comic book collection. I've been looking for this New 52 issue 0 and issue 1 for a really long time. I've found 0, I'm stoked to have found it. I'm still looking for that #1 though, but this is a really, really cool snippet of her backstory, and also just a sick cover with the boot. Oh, it's good. Also, similarly, I've been looking for Detective Comics 859 because it is chef's kiss. This issue is such a prized possession to me in terms of like positive representation, queer comic books coming out, the character that Batwoman is. I wanted this single issue specifically out of the Greg Rucka stuff that I've read, and I literally don't even care to have the stuff that like surrounds it individually. Just 859 was like vitally important to me, and I've been chasing it for months. Similarly, I grabbed 1025 and 1026 from Detective Comics because I haven't read these yet, but classic Batman, but also Batwoman storyline in these two, and it has been pointedly recommended to me, and I saw them for like $2, so I grabbed them because when was I ever gonna find them again if I hadn't found them locally? I found a like first printing A cover situation for the Dan Slott Amazing Spider-Man, which was what I started reading the first time, I guess we'll say, that I got into comic books, and I was reading these in the trade format. I still have them. I love them. I want to do a reread, but when I saw this issue 1 of that, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't even looked for this ever, but it belongs in my collection. So super, super stoked to have found this and brought it home with me. And then the last singles are the 4 issues of Marvels, which are all hefty, and they are like weird and slick, but really, really cool books physically, and I'm really excited to read the story and see what it's about, and see this like take on the characters and the world of Marvel, I guess you'd say. So with those being done, that is my total haul for single issues, but I've got a few trades. A book that I've been looking for a long time and wanted to find used because I already know the story is the first volume of Heartstopper, and I managed to find that for Yeah, $14, which was so nice. Sex Criminals Volume 1 by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. This is a duo that I want to explore more of, and this is also a series that seems really, really intriguing to me. So I found one and was, of course, going to bring it home with me. I think, yeah, this was $7. Another one, similarly, that is like a duo I want to pay a little bit more attention to is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips found the Fade Out first issue or volume, and also it was $8. Then I was really, really stoked on this. I found Day Tripper. I found the collected thing of Day Tripper, which I've read the first 3 issues and I love the concept and the art and like the nostalgic kind of newspapery feel that this has. And I'm like pleased to see that carries over in this collected edition too. This was a huge win. I think this was, yeah, $15 and it was an easy yes, you're coming home with me. Next up, another one that I couldn't believe I found was that Texas Blood Volume 1. I've been really, really curious about this one, honestly, thanks to Cody Collects. And I know it's kind of coming back, and I've had FOMO. I want to participate in it coming back, but I didn't have my hands on the first volume to see whether or not I even liked it. An insane find was Extremity by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. I obviously hear great things about this. If you watch Nate over at Speed Sultan, you know he often says great things about this, but he's certainly not the only one who has hyped this book up for sure. And let's get them organized into the collection. Okay, so I've spared you from watching me rebag and board all of these. That's a thing I like to do. I like to keep them clean in my collection because they're coming from all these different places. So smells, I think, is a thing, but also just I like it to be uniform. I like to get rid of the tape that scares me and put blue painter's tape on the back, all of those things. So here's all the Spideys. They're gonna go up there. I'm gonna start a little TBR stack of things that I don't want to put in the boxes because I would like to read them. Okay. Not bad. I have this huge stack of singles that currently hasn't had a home in my short boxes. So like some random Amazing Spider-Mans that are just so spotty that I'm like, do I even keep them? I don't know. They're just super random. I've got, these are all like very specifically books from my childhood collection that I somehow still have. So they're sentimental, but they make 0 sense. A couple duplicate Winona Earps. So like they probably, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I've got this huge stack of The Pulse, which needs to find a home, but you know. And then much like all those Amazings, I have these random sensationals that I honestly might get rid of. And then these are some spare bags and boards, I guess. And these are truly things that I just don't need to have. Really random, not continuous. That's a cool flash cover, but I don't need it. Random grab bag comic. So yeah, we're gonna put this stack down here for now to not worry about it. And honestly, it's crazy, but I'm gonna do the same thing with the Sensational Spider-Mans. And maybe those will get turned into my local shop. I don't know. Okay, so this box right here has been my Spectacular Spider-Mans. And then it goes all the way to here, where we have the jumping on point for the current Amazing Spider-Man run. And I think it goes, yeah, it hits Ultimate Incursion and then like Spider-Man Noir. So I think I'm gonna take everything that's like modern out and leave this Spider-Man box as Spectacular with room to grow, hopefully. Okay, so now here's what we're working with for room for all of these new guys to go in, which off the top of my head, I believe there's like 260 something issues of Spectacular Spider-Man, and I have over 100 in my collection, I believe, so far. So we're doing well. I really don't know if I intend to collect the 200s, which go like back here. I just think I like the older covers. You see a lot of change back there, and I'm not really with it in terms of like having them. So I don't know. Here are those early ones, late ones. Okay, those are my two special ones. These ones I didn't rebag and board because I just kind of wanted to remember what I paid for them because they were slightly more expensive. But here we go. That's got to be better, right? You can see what I'm doing now. Okay, so 190 found its home. I'm just gonna put these here. Yeah, okay, 155, 159, 158, 157, 156, 155. What's here? 153. Oh yeah, 154. Look at that gap that we closed. That's amazing. Okay, 146. So 122 is the next one that I need a gap for. So cool. 140s, 135, 34, 124, 123, 122. Is there 121 here? Yeah, 121, 120. That's a gap that we closed. 110. What's here? 111. Yep. Love the consecutive finds that I was able to pull off. It's crazy. 108 needs to go here. Still kind of a gap here because 103 is a little unfortunate. So 106 can fit in there. It's scattered. It's kind of painful. And then 104. That makes me feel a little bit better. Then 103, which is... This was such a cool find a few weeks ago. 102 versus... Oop, then we're in the double digits. Okay, so 80, 70, 58, 37. Okay. 39, 38, 37, which is in there, 36. That's nice. Narrow that gap. 33, then 32. Yeah. Okay, 26. Okay, 31, 26. What's here? 30. Yeah. Okay. I like this. This feels so nice. Okay, 28 goes here. 26. Oh no, I got a duplicate. This is the first time I have failed myself with Comic Geeks, but whatever, I guess. I'll have to decide which one I want to keep. This one is in better condition. I don't know what the difference is between whether or not one of these is more desirable than the other. So I'm just going to put them both in here for now. It's kind of bound to happen sometimes, I feel like. So whatever. Okay, 25, 22, 18, 20, 18. Nope, we got 19. And then 18, 6. Here, my 7 goes behind my 6. I pulled 6 the other day, I think. No, I pulled 18 the other day and thought it was my lowest, but then I had 6. But now I found 7, so I have 2 single digits. Pretty cool. Okay, and then my wall books, 23 and 24. Is this driving you people insane to listen to me try to figure this out? Okay. And then they go here. Amazings, which I was thinking about this just the other day, and this is like $150 worth of Amazing Spider-Man. Pulling this twice a month is insane. And I grabbed it at this jumping on point in 2025, and I have everything from there until we hit 1,000. And I'm kind of debating taking it off my pull list because I think it would genuinely free me to read a lot of other stuff. Like, there are inevitably going to be other Spider-Man stories. So, like, I'm kind of limiting myself by spending $10 a month on Amazing Spider-Man when, like, I could go back and read old Amazing Spider-Man or whatever, right? And then we'll just have that be the back. Okay. So now we've got a Spider-Man box, But I believe, like, I'm gonna put the rest of, what are these? These are other random Spider-Mans. Fantasy, a random blue, Tales, just Spider-Man, Web of, Holidays, some of the original Ultimate. Okay, this is where, like, this makes sense to sit in here, I guess. And then maybe these are Spider-Man. So maybe we'll do this. Is that crazy? I don't know, like, the method to the madness here. Is it gonna drive? It's gonna drive people nuts, but I'm gonna do this. Because I think this is a good marker for, like, okay, you have entered Spider-Man territory. Maybe it's nuts to put the noirs in here. This is a random Captain America cover, but he's got a really cool Spidey suit on, so I kind of had been using it as a marker for Spider-Man. So, Daredevil, Fantastic Four. These are random, but I like them. Gwenpool, Swim Special, Spider-Gwen. Here we hit Jessica Jones. So, Pulse number 1. Here's where the rest of those Pulse books go. She-Hulk. Planet She-Hulk, R.I.P. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Marvels are going in here. All these Rainbow Rowell She-Hulks, I'm so happy to have them, but it feels kind of random because I'm not intending to buy all of them. Shit. The new Alias run has been so much fun. This random old Jessica, because it's Jessica Spidey, which I guess maybe that makes sense to put ahead of Pulse. What the heck? What the heck? Okay. Where should these go? Where did these swim specials go? Where should Spider-Gwen go? I guess it should go after She-Hulk, right? Okay. And then that leaves us Gwenpools, F, Fantastic Four, D, Daredevil, and we'll just keep the swim specials in the front. Sure. Here's what we are rocking with. This bin is random Marvels, mostly Jessica Jones and She-Hulk. And then it hits random Spider-Mans. Great. And then we hit the current run of ASM from that 2025 jumping on point. Death Spiral, still going. And then we hit Ultimate Spider-Man, which I'm missing 1, 2, and 4. Getting really close to having a complete collection there. Which runs into Incursion and Endgame. And I think that's a good spot for this box to be kind of sitting at. This box is like Image, IDW. It's a lot of Winona Earp from the 90s to the TV show with some gaps, but I love them. One day it will be complete. Really hard to find these in person though. And then we hit like Boom and Image and other things in alphabetical order. So that makes sense to me and I'm gonna keep it that way. And most of these are things that I'm like currently pulling or they're over and I have the full situation going. So then this hits DC and like Vertigo, I guess. Ending on Batwoman, which feels nice because Batwoman and the Flash, I'm currently collecting them. They're ongoing, so we've got room in there for my ongoing pulls mostly. Same with the front of this box, I guess. This is what I don't know about. I put my Spider-Man Noirs in here, but they should probably go in here. I know. Nothing makes sense, okay? And I'm really aware that I have some random stuff going on. super random. So these then are all of my spectaculars, and it's got room to grow, and I think I'm just gonna leave them in this Spider-Gwen box, and they're going to hang out. Realistically, I know I should sort these in. Let's just do it. Okay, DC. Bleeding Hearts. Like, Robin should go in the R's, but like, he should also go next to Batman. You know? R, S, S. Hey, actually, this is kind of working out. Okay, we'll just keep those back there. It totally makes sense, I guess. Agent Carter. That goes, I guess, before my Daredevils. And then there is a random Fantastic Four in here, so we'll just put this Ultimate Fantastic Four in there. And then Astronauts in Trouble, I guess, will probably end up being the front of here. Which, I think I'm missing something. So we've got 1, 3, 4, and 5. Do I need these? I don't know. Putting them in here. And then we've got these 2 excess Winonas. So I'll just sort them in with the others because, sure. I found these for like $1 in the half price book bins, and I wasn't going to leave them behind because Winonas are so hard to find. It has been such a dark, gloomy day, so forgive me. We're really embracing that dark aesthetic ambiance vibe for the vlog, but let's hit the local comic shop. I'm looking for the final DC Pride Dreamgirls issue 4. That wasn't on my pull list, so I'm hoping I can snag it in general, but also the cover that I'm hoping for. And then there's 3 things on my pull list, and then possibly we'll pick up some dividers because you saw the distress that I'm in about my single issue organization. Mission accomplished. Dreamgirls, DC Pride, final issue number 4. Finish out those connecting covers. Great. The last issue of Ultimate Endgame was waiting in my pull box, along with Flash issue 34 and In Your Skin issue 3. And then I picked up 5 dividers so that we can, you know, ease some of the chaos in those bins that you unfortunately had to witness me create. But I know that I also promised a book haul for the regular books that I picked up on my trip. So let's do that. I had the emphasis of used books, obviously, and then also queer books because Happy Pride, and I had a hunch that they would be more in plethora in Canada, and I was correct because that's what most of these are. But let's start with the boring straight ones. First, we've got this really cute tiny version of Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles. I recently did a reread of Fahrenheit 451 and really enjoyed the writing, so I figured let's try some more from him. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is one of my best friend's favorite books, and I have not read it, so I saw it and I figured I'd pick it up. The Alchemist is a classic that I have always been meaning to read. Thank you, Macklemore, for shouting it out like 10 years ago. And but I wanted to find it used because it's kind of an expensive book for some reason. Mrs. S by K. Patrick. I've already read this. That's why I wanted to find it used, because it's not a new story to me. But oh my gosh, it's such a good book. And now I can give my loaner copy from my friend back to them and not feel sad that it's not on my shelf. Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. This came up in my queer book club a few months ago from a librarian whose recommendations always hit, so this had to come home with me. We Could Be Heroes by PJ Ellis. This is for sure nothing I've ever heard of, but it is a queer romance about these 2 people on set of a superhero movie, so yeah, we're gonna see what it's like. Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. This is a queer sapphic like classic book actually, and I'm really surprised to have found it because I've not even found it in like new bookstores. Tomboy Survival Guide by Ivan Coyote. This one, huge good luck find, I don't know, gem. Fairyland by Alicia Abbott. This movie is so good, and now I can go back and read the book because I didn't know the movie was based on a book or a memoir when I saw the movie, but such a good story. If you're not into reading, whatever, but you should go watch the movie. Another classic one, The Miseducation of Cameron Post. This is such a like common popular sapphic movie, and I honestly don't think I even knew it was based on a book, so here we go. Girls Like Us by Jennifer Dugan, which is like an ARC copy, which is kind of interesting, but I love the art on this cover. I think it's so pretty. Light from Uncommon Stars by Raika Aoki. Also, recommendation from Queer Book Club at the library from other people that I truly trust, but like multiple people have read and loved this in my book club. And it's blurb by TJ Klune, so like it's gonna be good. Rachel Lippencott's Pride and Prejudice in Pittsburgh. I've read from this author before, and I think, yeah, I don't know. This one is one where, like, I'm relieved to have found it used because it's intriguing to me, but I don't know that I'll love it, so I didn't want to buy it full price. Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochran. This is same kind of thing. I didn't want to pay full price because it's a Christmas book, and I don't want to love a Christmas book, so less of an investment. And then big winner, I had not found a paperback version but wanted Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I managed to find that, so yeah. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. This is a very long video. I don't know if that's the vibe, but it was kind of fun to make and just be chill and casual and, you know, like run the comic book errands and work on the organization and all of those things. So if you're still here, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. I hope you're having an amazing Wednesday, weekend, whatever it is for you, and that you are reading something that you love.